shoot, what said did you claim it? It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much make it a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's the man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot, what said did you claim?
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Man, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I didn't touch on a lot of the layoffs that was happening so far this year. And it's not for a lack of caring, it's just for a lack of really having the answer to all the issues. I try not to report issues that is depressing, but sometimes it's inevitable. And today we're going to talk about layoffs. We're going to talk about really good news. We have a lot of stuff happening. We're going to talk about discounts. We're going to talk about savings. And Xbox is having a new baby. And as a group, as the front line, I want us to figure out a name for that baby. If this is your first time finding this channel and you're into videos dropping daily, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then you found your new best friend. And if you like, become a member because we have conversations. And also, we game here. So, if you're into fellow gamers that talks to industry and you really like Xbox, well, you found your new best home. So, hey, man, welcome, get ready, and we're going to talk about this stuff today. When your very survival depends on making a game that is able to reach a broader audience and also defining how your studio is looked at, picking titles and decisions become harder and harder in today's climate. Ballistic Moon Studios, maybe you don't know them. Until Dawn Remake Remaster. Now, do you know them? We're going to delve deep inside what's going on at Ballistic Moon. Until Dawn Remake developer Ballistic Moon is effectively closed. That sucks. According to multiple insiders and sources knowledgeable about the situation, the Insider Gaming has learned that after the layoffs that publicly announced in September of 2024, which was roughly 40 employees or so that were let go, the remaining staff was kept to offer post-launch support and development on Until Dawn after its October release. In December 2024, however, the company laid off the remaining staff as well, resulting in around 20 more developers losing their jobs. Sources say the studio's founders only remain, and possible a handful of employees at the most. There's no employees in public relations, marketing, or department left. People are sharing bugs they found in the game to make the team aware, but there's no one working on a patch support for the game anymore. Sources say the studio has effectively closed now. This is concerning because the game was well received, to the best of my knowledge. And being that the game is on the leading current gen console with over 80 million units sold, you would think that there's a fan base that is necessary for this stuff. We were told that in order to get games, we needed to support remasters and remakes. As far as what happened, those who spoke on the condition of anonymity made it clear that the owners attempted to keep those things at Ballistic Moon moving forward. Many said the owners were actively looking for funding, pitching projects, but couldn't secure funding or a new publisher. When asked about Sony publishing another game or future updates to Until Dawn remake for the studio, one source said it was discussed, but nothing came to fruition. Instances of unpaid overtime. One former employee equated it to weeks of unpaid work, and that the internal announcement and redundancies came after the team had worked overtime. A nice reward for hard work, they said. Ballistic Moon's leadership has yet to put out an official statement on status of the studio, whether or not it's been or will be closed. In technical terms, it remains active in name only. Should a publisher sign on or funding come from elsewhere, the studio can start hiring process again to bring developers in and other staff. But right now, there's no work to be had and nothing to be done. This industry is in a free fall, a collapse, if you will. Working on projects that are exclusive is pretty much a ticket to nowhere. And the problem with this is this. If they are funding you, you have to go where the work is. And work has been very slim pickings. This is the problem the industry faces. And a lot more studios will face closures and departure from the industry based on the fact that the market is shrinking while we see record sales and record growth in other areas. The areas that growth and sales is not reaching is these studios that are giving support and reaching out to these larger conglomerates in hopes to be of some use. This is the reason why I feel consolidation is the key for this industry. Ballistic Moons had Sony saw it fit to actually take them under wing and actually have them work and give them the support that is necessary. They were more like contractors, and an ever sea of growing contractors that are looking at foreclosures and shutdowns, layoffs and departures in an industry that sadly needs their great work. I don't know where this goes, but I also understand that this is not sustainable. If you're wondering what's going on with Marathon, this should tickle your fancy. Bungie's Marathon pre-order bonuses have been found on Steam, and I'm kind of curious to exactly what they found. Bungie's next game, Marathon, is reportedly in its pre-order bonuses uploaded to the back end on Steam. Now, this is curious, right? Sometimes you be wanting to keep things to yourself and hidden and reveal it at your time, but these things get revealed based off of the internet, the gift and the curse. According to the Steam database Discord server, there's a leaker and rumors who reported this. Notice that an extra edition of Marathon and packages related to pre-order bonuses was uploaded to Steam. According to the information, such pre-order bonuses would include free Marathon skins that can be used in Destiny 2. Now, see, that's what I like, cross-pollination. Let that happen. Such an update suggests that the game will be announced soon. According to the industry insider, Jeff Grubb said in February he believes that Bungie will reveal Marathon in April. Marathon wasn't here because they was probably going to be doing their own thing. Bungie does have their own thing, usually for Destiny, and they're going to adopt that same mindset, you know, what they talk to the audience and strategy and stuff like that. Bungie Marathon was the first revealed in May of 2023 with a teaser trailer revealing that the game would be a sci-fi PvP extractor shooter. In June 2023, Insider exclusive reported Marathon's gameplay loop included an experimental feature that will see players have an in-game timer controlled by their oxygen supply. A Marathon is scheduled to release in 2025 for the Xbox Series X and X, PlayStation 5, and PC. I'm looking forward to this because I love what Bungie was, the idea of Bungie, if you will. Whereas they aren't the Bungie of old. I want to see what this new iteration of Bungie has to offer us as gamers. And I expect, hopefully, that this is a wonderful game. I hope it's not half-baked. But listen, that's how we are as gamers, right? We have hope for stuff that we care about. And I do care about this game actually being good. Because regardless to what, Bungie has given me some of my greatest memories with Halo and Destiny. And I've always supported Bungie regardless to what my feelings are when Sony purchased them. I thought that was a knee-jerk reaction, and it kind of went the way that I thought it would with the closures and shutdowns and all types of things that happen over there. But at the end of the day, I think they kind of made their bed and they had to lie in it. So as a supporter, sometimes you're not happy with things, but I really have high hopes for Marathon. And I just want to know what you guys think. Are you guys happy for what Marathon is? Let me know your thoughts if you even think it's going to be good. When looking for any negative news about Sony, it can be very hard looking on the internet. And the majority of the time, it's so well buried that you will never find out any information about any of these things. That's why I feel that there is an Xbox tax. Because, and when we say Xbox tax, we're talking about there is a definite studio that is treated differently when it comes to bad information or bad news let out about the company. Xbox, everything is front page. They can stub their toe and the world will know. PlayStation can get into a supreme car wreck and be debilitated for months. You will never know. And I think that that industry standard has to change. It has to be parity. It has to be equality across the boards because one can't be greater than the other. In order for the survival of the industry, equality has to reign supreme. And favoritism is going to go the weight of the dodo because you will not survive this if you continue to turn a blind eye to the red flags that are happening over at Sony. So many times do people brush away and dismiss everything that you're seeing as, oh, it's necessary, or, oh, don't worry, Sony got this, or, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. Oh, it's not necessary. And Sony may not recover from the detrimental harms that has been done to the company from their own hands, their own arrogance, their own need to squeeze their own fan base to the point that the fan base is either broken or disbanded. They have allowed the competitor onto their console in hopes to think that they will take some of the competitor's great content. In reality, they've received whatever the competitor has decided to bring over as the competitor tries to strangle them from within. Because remember the old Roman tactic. If you cannot beat them overtly, destroy them covertly. Rome was taken down from within. Those people trying to attack Rome, though their legions and their armies were many, could not destroy Rome from outside. It took the inside politics to bring Rome to its knees. Rome was further destroyed from warring factions after the fact. But to bring down the giant which was Rome. It all started from within. PlayStation hit with more layoffs following recent games cancellation. PlayStation's visual art team faces fresh cuts as the company continues to reorganize. The PlayStation-owned studio, Visual Arts, was hit with a fresh layoffs this week amid further restructuring from Sony USA game development operations, while some of the cuts include staff who have contributed recently to canceled projects like the upcoming live service game from Ben's studio, a source was told to Kotaku. The layoffs was more widespread than that. Earlier this week, unknown number of staff from Visual Arts Group based in San Diego was informed that their last day at the studio will be March 7th. The team provided internal art technical support and first-party PlayStation studios worked closely with Naughty Dog on the recent Last of Us Part 1 and 2 remasters, among other projects. It's these constant remakes and remasters that are doing the company in. It shows a lack of innovation and a constant manipulation of a fan base that is loyal to you. Loyalty goes only but so far when you continue to serve the same meal with a slight twist. Oh, lemon pepper chicken? Of course, I'll take that. Oh, lemon pepper chicken. Honey glaze? Okay. Oh, lemon pepper chicken with mustard. I don't know how far that lemon pepper chicken is going to stretch, but they're getting sick and tired of lemon pepper chicken over in Sony camp. Sony did not immediately respond to the request for comment. It was tough waking up to the message of my friends and former co-workers from the PSVA were laid off this morning. A former PSA VA project manager, Abby Leemaster, now at Riot Games, posted at LinkedIn on Monday, the layoffs today hit hard. They let go developers with decades of subject matter expertise, talent that will be extraordinarily difficult to recoup. This industry can be unpredictable, but the skill, expertise, and passion of people I work with at PSVA are undeniable. The layoffs come after extensive failure of last year Concord. Concord was so expensive. It had affected the company in ways no one had foreseen. Remember, they thought that that was too big to fail, that there was absolutely no way a game that they called their new Star Wars would ever fail. They did not listen to external metrics. They did not listen to anyone with betas. They did not check before they released the title. They did not say, wait, let's put it back in a cooker to fix what's wrong before they went live. They had tunnel vision, and sometimes tunnel vision can lead to you not seeing the travesties coming from your left and your right because your periphery is closed. The layoffs is terrible. Now, cancellations included reported God of War spinoff at Bluepoint Games and a reorganization within the top echelons over at Sony leadership. Hiroki Totoki became the company's new CEO, and Hideki Noshino became the sole CEO of PlayStation, with Herman Holtz being demoted to a previously where he was co-CEO, is now reporting to Noshino, and he is the head of PlayStation Studios. He's in charge of fixing the mess that he helped create. The latest cuts of the PlayStation Studios Visual Arts Group following an emerging trend of game companies pulling back development resources from expansive video game-based offices. Last year during the business briefing, Host said there had been pressure on the cost side as Sony laid off hundreds amid spiraling first-party blockbuster game development budgets. For every title, we have really vigorously review processes where we focus on the sustainability of our investments in these titles, he said at the time. We include areas such as looking at what can be outsourced, for example, to avoid high peak resources and development teams because costs can be sticky. They're looking for co-development options. You understand? They're looking not to fit the bill anymore. They're looking to outsource anything that they can. Sony is hurting for cash. So they're trying to budget their way into getting to a blockbuster and hoping that the next game is the next great game that's going to help bring sustainability to the faltering system. Sony is the one that ushered in the high-price AAA game. That quickly got out of hand with spending at the highest. When Jim Ryan found out that the spiraling budgets was not sustainable, he quickly pivoted to live service games. The first live service game was an unmitigated failure to the point that they could not recover. Now, I'm not going to say Helldivers 2 was not a game that didn't give that thought process of live service sustainability. What Helldivers 2 was, it masked the actual problem. Because when you look at the metrics, the PC helped the PlayStation. With all the shenanigans that the PlayStation pulled on the PC group, they said they got you when it came to Concord, and they did not participate in your farce of a game. That has led to this. Sony is in dire trouble. And if you keep pulling the sheet over your eyes to act like you cannot see what is going on, you will surely crash and burn. Now, I tell you, hashtag no PlayStation 6. We're going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. I say that normally. But right now, that is not befitting of what's going on. What's going on is Sony's making gambles and not making changes. I believe, honestly, all the failures over at Sony was due to arrogance. The ability not to do what they need to do in order to survive will constantly hamper the decisions over at Sony. With no games in sight, none being talked about, only third-party deals. Xbox knew very early on, all you're doing is getting by with these third-party deals that you're making. It's not sustainable. And they actually made investments to self. You must invest in self. My suggestion to Sony, scale back on trying to make larger budget games. Go back to making AA games, single A games. Go back to investing into yourself. Splinter off into smaller teams. Not every team has to be a single player, over-the-shoulder, story-driven narrative game with the same template that your fan base has grown tired of. If Forza Horizon 5 isn't any indication that you're in trouble, Indiana Jones and any other game that Xbox puts on your platform to make money off of your fan base that you have cultivated over these years, you're not understanding the true definition of it's almost over. Now, I want to see if these port begging ponies is going to tell you that they will rather buy and own than rent. Well, this is the height of hypocrisy. The fact that Game Pass is successful, I want to know in the UK, is this successful? If any of my UK fan base understands or knows about this, please let me know. You can now rent a PlayStation 5 for less than the price of Netflix. You've heard it right, folks. A monthly subscription on hardware. If you'd rather not shell out hundreds of pounds up front for a PlayStation 5, you can now lease one in the UK for as little as 10 or 11 pounds a month. Sony has buddied up with a company called Rilo to provide rentals for the UK gamers on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, PlayStation VR2 and DualSense controller, or a PlayStation Portal. It might be a great way to play the best PlayStation 5 games. To get the cheapest $11 pound deal on a £11 deal on a PlayStation 5 digital edition with a controller, you need to sign up for a 36-month contract. However, if you just want one for a year, you can pay up to £17 a month at the end of the lease. You can keep paying at that current rate or just hand it back in. A rolling deal that allows you to get your hand back in any time will cost you £22. That is a decent option for the summer holidays if you just want to pair it with a PlayStation Plus subscription, for example. The natural price goes up pretty significantly if you want a new PlayStation 5 Pro, taking the pride in place of your entertainment system, for £19 for 36 months or £27 for 12 months. The offers come via the PlayStation Direct website and have a free next day delivery, which you'll pay nothing up front. Devices can be returned 14 days, and Rilo has a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. All consoles have a lifetime warranty. You won't get penalized for minor scratches and scrapes occurring during the rental period. Now, do you care about owning now? Is your argument valid now? I'm pretty sure the hypocrisy will roll in. I'm pretty sure you poor begging ponies will continue to twist and change things just to fit your narrative. I honestly feel that they're trying anything to get gamers back to gaming, offering as little as £11 for you to have a PlayStation. You are the cheapest console, period. Period. There's no excuse for you guys. I wonder if now we found out why there are so many consoles reportedly sold, because apparently you guys are renting consoles. Jeez. I just showed you FragPunk the other day, and news just hit right now. Marvel Rivals Company has a second hero shooter coming out, gives fans free stuff after last-minute console delay. Now, it was supposed to launch on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation all at the same time. Well, apparently players will automatically get Season 1 unlocked without having to grind for it. FragPunk is a first-person hero shooter where you use deck building card mechanics to augment your character's strength and weaknesses. It's the next free-to-play game from NetEase, which also produced Marvel Rivals, a game that y'all see me play on Frontline Gaming streams. And it's coming out this week, just not on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X consoles, where it's suddenly delayed just 24 hours right before it launched. Now, that's wild, because we were just talking about it, and I was asking you guys if y'all were interested in this title. We want to be fully transparent with you, FragPunk's developers wrote in a statement published last night. During the console compliance testing process, we encountered unexpected technical challenges in the optimization and adaptation. Rather than rushing the console release and providing a potentially poor user experience, we made the difficult decision to delay the launch of the console version to ensure players receive a comparable experience to those on PC. And if developers did more things like this, players will now understand that there are companies that actually care about you. The wildest part about everything is they understand the experience matters the most. The experience you have. You cannot take back your first impression. Your first impression needs to be your best impression. And if you see trouble heading down the way, you must avert it at all cost, because a bad game initially, potentially, can forever be stuck in that person's head as a bad game, and they never go back to your game. While there's no new release date for the console version, the PC version comes out March 6th, which is tomorrow. Players on those platforms would get some free rewards for the inconvenience. All would-be PlayStation 5 and Xbox players would get in-game currency, cosmetics, experience points, and more that they could have earned during the season if they played at launch. No grinding involved. Those who pre-ordered the game on those platforms, meanwhile, will get an extra $10 in-game currency when the game goes live. Hopefully the game is not dead by that point. That's something that hopefully doesn't happen. But you have to understand, these companies do value you. There are some companies that absolutely values everything about you. A little light on news, but a little heavy on situations that are affecting the industry as a whole. I never delight in layoffs. I never delight in closures. I do delight in consolidation because it allows for survivability of a core group of individuals that are based in a team that can actually live on and prosper. That's what I want for the industry. You see an Acclaim come back, and I have to dig more into them being back and what that actually means. And there was news about Neil Druckmann talking about No Last of Us 3. I think he was more or less explaining about the movie, well, the TV show, no, the online Netflix show or whatever, when it comes to The Last of Us. But I do believe that after Intergalactic, he's going to have Sony over their last project, and that's it. But if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. And if you're not a subscriber, please take my invitation to become a subscriber and like and hit the notification button and share it out. Share it out to a friend because you guys definitely keeps the motor running. And if you want to become a member, members of the lifeblood of the stream, me personally, you guys are invaluable. So continue to do the stuff that you do because you are the best community. We do have a ton of you here, and we do appreciate each and every last one of you. I am more concerned, and I told people last year, regardless to what, I mean, I could joke around and I could play around and I could say hashtag this and hashtag that and all that funny stuff, and that's cool, and that's well and cool. I want you to understand all that is done in joke and satire. But I've watched and I've survived past the first crash that we had in the industry and the shovelware that was being put out. Now, I'm not saying that we are suffering from shovelware. No, actually, the industry, as far as video games, we are at our peak. There are beautiful games being dropped in indie, in AA space, in AAA space. There are wonderful remakes of yesteryear games being brought back. There are game preservation stuff that is happening. And you would think out of all these wonderful games and all this wonderful stuff happening in an economy where it's pretty much, our economy is pretty much bad across the world. But the innovation in our space, in our medium, is growing. Our medium it's the largest form of entertainment in the world. It brings back the largest budgets. Not even movies bring back as much as video games. Why isn't that being shared with the developers? Why isn't that money being spread across to make a healthy industry? Why isn't it being shared and utilized to grow the industry? Why don't we see more schools being opened up for programming? Why isn't Sony and Microsoft getting gaming hubs in cities that can cultivate innovation in our space? Why is it not being reinvested? Why do we see larger corporations, and I'm not excluding you, Nintendo, just continue to make CEOs rich, shareholders rich, at the detriment of the industry itself? It's like you have vampires from the top down sucking the blood out of the industry, while those at the bottom is left to atrophy. because they say stuff like redundancies. That word within itself is toxic. It tells you that there's somebody that's there that is doing what you're doing, that one of you two is not necessary, and they can eliminate one of you two in order to make it happen. It's sad that we see these things happening and we can't stop it. We're vocal on social media, but that doesn't stop shareholders from turning a blind eye to canceling, destroying, and eroding the developer's drive and need. There's a statistic that goes out that at least 60% of the individuals that leave the industry no longer come back. That is talent lost, put in other sectors, movies, other industries, other technologically inclined stuff. It is sad. I don't want to see us to lose the great talent that we have, and I don't want the talent that is here to become jaded and bitter at the hierarchy that is involved. It must be from the top down that this industry changes, not from the bottom up. We can't look at people coming out of college to form a new studio in order to form change. They will be quickly gobbled up from the larger corporations and again eroded from the inside so they're no longer the company that we've seen. We've seen this done with Bungie and many more companies that we used to hold high as shining stars. Well, I'm going to take that logo and I'm going to toss it around Split Fiction because Lord Attic and I will be playing that tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you, like I always tell you, try to play the Game Pass.